Hello you guys, welcome back to another video slash episode on this podcast slash YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome or welcome back. I'm currently recording this when daylight savings has just happened. We have just found out the new president. Stay safe out there, everybody. Okay? We came here for a safe space, and that is exactly what I'm here to provide for y'all today. Now, this episode is for all my lover girls, lover boys, healers, lovers in general in this world. People with that depth, people with that empathy, people who could read right through you. Okay? I've heard this statement before, like probably in a quote online or maybe just something I've read in a self improvement book. But I really realized recently how much this hits in my life, especially when it comes to the dating game. Hmm. Let's get into it. I remember one time I heard someone say or quote that a lot of people listen to respond, they don't listen to understand. And when I tell you that hit so deep, I straight off the bat want to say my opinion on this. I feel like 80% of the world thinks like that. And when you break it down, a lot of people listen to respond, they don't listen to understand. Okay? When you're listening to someone, you're supposed to be an active listener. You feel me? Like they tell you in school, but actually not how they tell you in school. I understand why a lot of people listen to respond and not just to understand, because what do you do in school? Like they teach us memory, they teach us repetition. So it's like when they tell you something at school or you did something bad, what do they tell you to do? They say, can you repeat what I just said? Or they be like, can you say sorry to this person you hurt or whatever? You don't even be like, they don't even tell kids, like, do you know what you're sorry for? Do you like understand what I said? Um, no. Kids just be like, sorry, because someone told them to say sorry. Or they'll repeat what you said because all they were focused on and all they're taught is that you need to just remember what adults say and just repeat it. Not that you need to be listening with your own ears. And we're not taught like understanding. If that makes sense. I dive straight into it. I'm sorry, y'all. Really think about it. How many times, like if it's not straight up like some siblings fighting, right? They hit the other sibling cries, you tell the sibling who hit the other sibling, say sorry. They know why they're saying sorry, because they know they shouldn't have hit them. Okay? But when it comes to deeper things, like maybe, kids are so ignorance is bliss coded. Like they just be saying whatever they want. They don't understand what's offensive yet. They don't understand what right time, right place is. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to stuff like that, a lot of times we just chew kids out and we're just like, say sorry, like, say sorry. Have you ever asked a kid why they're saying sorry? Like, okay, what are you sorry for? Do you know why I asked you to say sorry? 90% of the time, they're going to say no. And I don't think it's because they're being stubborn. Some kids are stubborn, but most of them, they really don't know. They're just taught to listen and respond with the basic. I'm sorry. Okay. My fault. I'll do better. And like, they don't even know what that means. And I feel like because we're raised this way in school, I'm an American. Just kidding. It's not a great day today because of what I said at the beginning. But at least in the Western culture that I've grown up in, I feel like that's what we're taught as a society. It's very people pleasing, very use the same responses, not very like, what does what you're saying actually mean? You feel me? And if it is that way in other cultures, like besides the US or whatever, let me know in the comments because I see my analytics. Sometimes I am a little bit worldwide. Well, let me know. So even though it's frustrating because I feel like we're kind of all autopiloted on that wavelength. Like you listen to respond and just say the right thing. Not we respond to say the honest thing or the thing we really want to say. It's just like you respond to say the right thing. And as a person, as a young woman, almost 22 years old as of 10 days, I feel like I have reprogrammed my brain to not be that way. I don't care. I've been in this stance in relationships. I don't care how bad someone is crying, how angry someone is with me, how whatever. I will literally not apologize to you if I'm not sorry. Okay? If I'm not sorry. And a lot of people might be like, that's super mean, that's super rude. But I think it is even ruder to get a half ass apology, a fake apology, an apology that's just on autopilot, an apology without understanding. Okay? Because you realize with these little I'm sorries or just responding with whatever, like like it's not genuine. And I never want to be not genuine. You feel me? It seems a little cold. I am a Scorpio, but like it's real shit. Like I remember this one instance. I was just telling my best friend about this a couple weeks ago where I was like, I remember like my ex person I was dating at the time, but he's my ex now, was just like so upset with me for something I said when he disappointed me, right? He was disappointing me and just really doing like the same stuff. And I'm the type of girl where I feel like I believe in the golden rule, okay? Treat people how you want to be treated. So I'm not going to call a man out of his name. Like I feel like if you get to that point where you think you have to call someone a or call them out of your name, I'm like, when I say stuff like that, I'm done. I'm done because I mean it. I don't want to do that to someone I love and still continue a relationship with, right? But I remember he was disappointing me so bad. And I don't remember what I said, but I said, like, your actions are like, it seems like you're acting like a, it was like some word that wasn't a cuss word. Like, it seems like cowardly or like you're just giving up. Like, I explained it some way like that again, because healed Scorpio, we're very classy over here. Like, I really should have cussed so many men out, but I didn't. I used smarter words because I want people to treat me how I want to be treated. Okay. So I said something like that. And I remember when we were talking about it later, he was just saying that he was like so upset and hurt that like I said that about him. Like that I said that's what he was acting like. You feel me? And I was in love with this person. So obviously, I'm like I didn't say this to cause you to be upset with me or for like to hurt your feelings, because why would you purposely hurt someone's feelings that you care about, I was like, genuinely, I was just so disappointed with your continuous actions. I was like, that's what I felt like you were acting like. I was like, I didn't say you were that. I said that's what you were acting like in that moment. So I was like, of course I feel bad and I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but like I was just explaining that. And he was like, so you're not sorry? And I was like, sorry for what? And he was like, sorry for calling me that. Like, you don't. And I'm like, this was such a crazy situation. I just can't be not genuine for. I was like, I really can't apologize for saying that's what you were acting like, because your actions, that's truly what you were acting like. I was like, no, can I be sorry for hurting my partner's feelings, for hurting someone I love, or, them being upset? I was like, yeah, I can make room for your feelings in that way. But I'm like, I'm not sorry for saying that, because in that moment, that is what you were acting like. And like, I stand on that. And I remember, y'all, he was getting so mad at me, basically just peer pressuring me to apologize for that. And I was just like, I literally can't. Because in that moment, that like after just feelings of repetitive disappointment from you, I was like, that is what you were acting like in that moment. And I was like, if I say I want to take it back or that's not what you're acting like, I was like, I'd be lying. And y'all always be trying to call Scorpios liars, but baby, that ain't me. I just remember this man seeming so shocked that I was standing my ground and getting like actively more annoyed with me. And you know what? I could have folded. I could have folded and been like, you know what? You weren't acting like that. Or no matter how upset I was, I shouldn't have said that. But I didn't, y'all. I was like, I literally just had to stand my ground. And it's so hard sometimes to be so genuine in like how I explain things. Because like again, because so many people are trained on autopilot. Sorry, I'll do better, this and that. Like all these words with empty cups. I'm sure that was very shocking for him to hear. That, that's not how I feel about you as a whole, but yes, that is how I felt about you in the moment. And it is what it is. And I'm not trying to have y'all look at me like I'm just some mean. I mean, I can be. I'm a Scorpio. Also, that was an abusive relationship, and I was tired of it. That he's half the reason I have content from this channel. Okay, so I don't feel bad. Sorry, I'm sorry, nigga. Nah, but don't get me wrong. I completely believe in apologies, apologizing, saying what you did wrong, explaining why you're sorry, saying what you're going to do moving forward. I've apologized so many times in my life, especially in relationships, because again, I live by the golden rule. I just want people to treat me how I want to be treated. And I want people to genuinely apologize and genuinely get better. I'm not always right. And I know that. And like when I recognize that, I do. But the problem is sorry, I'll do better, da da da. These autopilot replies that people don't mean. Like they just say that stuff so the conversation can be over, so the argument can be over. They don't really know what they did. They don't really know how they're moving forward. They just want you to shut up. If you're a woman, please tell me if you can relate to that. I feel like so many women can relate to that, especially because so many men are just so uncomfortable with uncomfortable feelings, which I understand. The world is not very kind to vulnerable men. It's not very much of a safe space for men to talk about their emotions. So I understand why it's hard for a lot of men and they operate on these autopilot frequencies, but we have to heal, baby. We have to unlearn, okay? We have to realize that although, especially because there's so much, okay? There's being a man. I'm saying, I already know. The world is not kind to men and their emotions, okay? Then there's so much intersectionality. There's being a black man, okay? There's being a woman. Women have our struggles. Then there's being a black woman. Then there's being a queer woman. Everybody has their struggles and all these things, but I feel like when you're in relationships, you have no choice but to get vulnerable, or what else, what other route is there? And I only say get vulnerable obviously with people who are safe. If it's not someone you can be safe with, you can trust with your feelings and with all these things, don't date them. But when you do genuinely find someone who's not here to judge you, who's not here to use things against you, who's here to hear you and to see you, and you stubborn and you still move on the autopilot, I don't want to talk about my feelings, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to break this down, baby, it's not going anywhere. And I have learned that so hard in my little dating journey, situationships this past year and a half. I have had men hang up in my face when I've talked about myself. I've had men cut me off because I set a boundary or told them when something upset me. And it's like I don't know why I'm so shocked, because like I said, I know how this world has programmed us growing up, and feelings and sorries, like we don't even know. But I guess it just shocks me when I'm someone who's worked so hard to reprogram my brain and go through all this healing and be like, no, like, even though it's hard out here to be a real ass, genuine, honest bitch, it's so hard. I'm like, I see that even if I may deal with these people who are just so avoidant or who don't welcome authenticity the way I do, I know it's going to pay off in the long run, because I can't be miserable and just hold in everything. Like, I'm gonna blow eventually. I'm literally gonna blow. So I feel like, as always, a very common theme on my channel, this is just a message to anyone who can relate, anyone who feels like being genuine gets them nowhere, anyone who feels like vulnerability just like gets them fucked every time. Um, no, it's actually quite the opposite. I appreciate you, and I think you're so brave for reteaching yourself, unlearning what we've learned growing up, like for the greater good to be yourself. Like, I've made a video on this before. Another thing, schools growing up, they teach you, again, these autopilot, people pleasing ways. But then at the same time, they say, oh, just be yourself. Do you know how hard it is to be yourself? Especially, like I said, intersectionality. We have women, we have men, and then we have these other things. We have your culture, we have your gender identity, we have your sexual, like, it is not easy. It is so not easy to be yourself, even though they try to act like it is. Because they literally don't tell you, like, yeah, be yourself. But a lot of people, other people don't be themselves. So they're going to judge you for being yourself. Have fun. They don't say that, but they should. They should. They really should. And I feel like if you're on the other side of the spectrum, like, oh, like you're listening to this and I'm like, oof, I low-key am that person. Like, I listen to just respond because I'm just so used to, if you're wrong, say sorry. If someone says you're wrong, you hurt you, say sorry. Say that you'll do better. Like, if you're just used to slapping a band-aid on things, that's how you're raised. You weren't raised around vulnerability and a family that welcomes emotions. Think about this. Like, take a deep journey into that inner child. It can be so hard to stand your ground and, be vulnerable. But I say, if you are with someone, whether that's a friend, a partner, whatever, where it is safe to do so, think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying. Because, like, people always say, like, oh, whatever, words can never hurt me. Yes, they do. Okay? If someone is wanting an apology from you, no, for God's sake, especially the men, know what you're apologizing for. Know what you're apologizing for, guys. Don't, if she wants an apology for you and you say you're sorry and she asks, what are you sorry for? And you don't know, ladies, we've been there too many times. Know what you're apologizing for, please. Okay? Don't say things that you don't mean just because you don't want to hurt people. I feel like so many people, again, in this people-pleasing ass world, don't realize that that is more harmful. Way more harmful. But yeah, I don't know, y'all. This was just a little bit of a rant because it's rough out here. But I truly believe, in both sides of the spectrum to just take a look and reflect. If you're on my side where you're like, I've unlearned these things, I can't help but be vulnerable, even though it hurts, even though people hurt me for it, even though I'm penalized for it, just reflect and remember you gotta keep going. Like Janae said, because if you don't, do not shrink yourself for this people pleasing world. And if you're on the other side, look, like I said, reflect, do some unlearning. Do I actually say things that I mean, or do I just say things that people want to hear? Okay? And like I said, it's okay. I'm not here to chew out or judge anybody who still operates on autopilot because, like I said, it's taught to us. But I feel like it is never too late to unlearn and think about these types of things. You feel me? Thank you guys so much once again for listening to another video. As always, not too many notes today. Speaking purely from the heart, purely from experience, purely from a certified lover girl. I hope I said something helpful that you can take away from this video. Let's chat in the comments if you're on either side of this issue. I'd love to hear it because I love talking to you guys. And yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because if you stayed this long, I know you want to hear a little bit more. And check out my Yap Sessions playlist with lots and lots of similar content. Or if you're right here on Spotify, check out the rest of this podcast. Okay? Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video/episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!